I can honestly say it doesn't feel heavy receiving other people's stories. Instead of it bringing a heaviness, I actually find encouragement from it because not because somebody else is hurting, because that's awful. And I hate that sometimes we have the same thing in common. I'm like, I hate that you can experience that and you understand, but I'm so glad that you're here and you shared that because you know you're not alone.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, it's Steve McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Lunny.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous?
We are absolutely thrilled here on the Kelly Alexander Show to welcome Broadway star, singer, songwriter, and mental health advocate Kelsie Watts to the show. Kelsie has been starring as Jane Seymour in Broadway's Six the Musical and has been releasing some new music, including her song Fit In, and we cannot wait to talk to her all about it. Kelsie, welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show.
Hello, how are you?
I am fantastic, and I'm so excited to have you on the show. I have so many things to ask you. I do want to start off, though. I really like to get a sense of people's beginnings. So can I just ask you, like, how did you know a career in the arts was going to be for you? Like, was it a calling or, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So I always kind of make a joke that it's pretty cliche, like I'm not gonna lie, but I don't remember learning how to sing. Like I just always did. So the first video we have, like with my family, I was sitting on the fireplace hearth, like in my Looney Tune pajamas, singing this old gospel song, "The Basics of Life" by a group called For Him. And literally I was 2 years old. And it's just always been in my soul. I was like, nah, it's just, I was born to do it.
That's perfect. And when you were that little, like, do you have an artist that kind of comes to mind or several artists that like spoke to you and this is why you wanted to head in that direction?
Oh, yeah. I mean, growing up, I listened to a very wide range of artists. We had, gosh, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey playing in the house all the time. But then we also had Rolling Stones and Def Leppard and Kiss and, then the casual Les Mis cast album and a bunch of gospel music. So I was brought up around a lot, but I would say the one that I listened to the most was probably Celine.
Which is
just from like my mom playing it all the time.
That's awesome. Well, being here in Montreal, which is like her hometown, that's amazing. We love any Celine Dion fans.
Yep,
And I
right.
actually did want to ask you about Celine in the fact that, she shared one of your covers. What went through your mind when you saw that, and how did it affect you as both like a songwriter and an artist?
I mean, I was in a state of shock, if I'm being honest. So 9 times out of 10, I don't necessarily see it unless somebody lets me know. Because whenever you get to a certain like threshold on social media, I keep my notifications off because it's just so consistent. And so the only reason I even saw it is because someone who follows me commented on my video and was like, "Oh my gosh, Celine Dion just reposted you." And I was on the subway on my way to meet my family for coffee, and I was like, "What?" I literally started crying like in the subway. I was like, "There's no way. There's just no way." So I mean, it was anytime I'm having a bad day, I just go back and look at that and I'm like, "Oh, it's okay." Celine Dion knows who I am.
What did your what did your mom say? Like, because knowing she's the Celine fan.
Oh, they freaked out. Like I immediately screenshot them everything. I was like, "Guys, look at what happened." It was so cool. So cool.
Amazing. Have you ever been to Montreal?
I have not. I've been to Toronto,
Okay.
but never Montreal. It's on my list though. I would love to go.
The next time you tour or start to
Yes.
tour, do it.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
the best. So
Yeah, I know. I'm told. I'm told all the time.
that's
A
good. And
girl
it's
that I
true
used
because
to
funny
tour with
enough, we
says
actually
it.
had an artist in recently and they were like, they'd never been here before. And they were like, oh my God, like you guys are next level. Like I don't mean to like say it, but I think in Canada, we are next level for
I
fans.
love that.
So
No, I
yeah.
love that so much. Yeah.
Amazing. Now let's talk a little bit about because I'm very interested in this. Even though I'm up here in Canada, I had heard of Belmont, in Nashville. Like, is it
Oh
Belmont
yeah,
University or what do they call it
it is.
university?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd heard of it, and then when I saw that you went there, I was like, oh my God, goodness, like that's awesome. So how did you? Because you're from Texas, so like, how did you know to try to apply and to go all the way to Nashville to go to Belmont?
Yeah, so whenever I graduated high school, I actually went to Texas Tech University, which is in Lubbock, for about a year and a half. And what's wild is even whenever I accepted my freshman year, I looked at my parents, I go, I know I'm not going to graduate from here, but it's where I'm supposed to be for this year. Like straight up told them that and they were like, "Okay, random." But I actually took a break from school for about a year and then transferred in to Belmont because there was a guy that was in my dad's youth group who went to Belmont, who does music. And so I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I should look at that. And I looked into it and I was actually didn't think I was going to get in or get a scholarship or anything because I was a transfer student. But I just knew it was meant to be because I got in, got a scholarship to go. I was like, oh, okay, this is meant to be. It's meant to be.
And what was it like moving to Nashville? Was it everything that you hoped for? Was it more than you thought? Was it different than you thought it might be?
I mean, gosh, when I first moved to Nashville, it's so different from Texas, from just Lubbock, Texas specifically. I love Lubbock and I loved growing up there. It was, the best people and it's a small town. And so I'm really glad that my childhood was there. Um, but getting to move to a place where there were lots of me's, if that makes sense. And there were a lot of other creatives. There were a lot of other singers and performers and dancers and actors. And I was like, oh, this is so great. I was around so many like-minded people. And I think that was probably the most encouraging thing for me is I was like, oh, this is awesome. There's a lot more people like me that think the same way I do.
And what was it like for your parents to like let you go?
I haven't talked to them about that in quite a while, but I remember them saying, "Okay, that's not that far. It's not close, but it's not that far." And then moving to New York, they were like, "Okay, that's far." They were like, "That's pretty far." But I mean, honestly, I've been so blessed to have really supportive parents my entire life. They've supported me 100% in every endeavor from day one, so I can't complain.
Amazing. Now, I'm sure you've been asked about this a gajillion times, probably more, but I do think from like all the research I've done on you, it does seem like this is like a catalyst moment for you for your career. So, how did you get on The Voice?
Oh
And
yeah.
and what was it like being on Team Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah, so the producers actually reached out to me for the show. They invited me to do what's called a producer audition. And so I went out to LA, auditioned for them, and then they were like, all right, we want to put you into blinds. And so what the audience really doesn't see is there's about 100 of us living in a hotel for a month before blind auditions even happen. And the basically, you're not all guaranteed a blind audition. So even though you're there, if the teams fill up before you get to audition, you sucks to suck. Like you're going home. So you may not even get the opportunity. So it's a very like high stakes, high stress situation. You're like right here. You can't post on social media. You can't really go outside. We were the COVID season, so it was a whole different experience. But getting to sing a song, Kelly Clarkson song for Kelly Clarkson, was really, really cool. I knew it was a big risk, but I understood that it would at least get me on TV because it was dramatic. And then having her turn around, I was like, oh, this is crazy. I didn't expect that to happen. How amazing. So, I mean, so yeah, it was really good. Because of the COVID season, I really didn't get to interact with Kelly very much. I saw her maybe twice, but it was a great experience. I'm super grateful. It allowed me to get, a blue check mark before you could pay for it and gave me a couple viral moments on TikTok before TikTok had really popped off. So it definitely helped me initiate a fan base for sure.
Amazing. Now, I did want to ask like, about those blind auditions. Like, did you make the decision on your own to sing a Kelly Clarkson song?
No. So here's the thing. A little bit of insight into reality television is nothing's really what it seems, which I'm sure you know. So with song choices, the show runs into licensing issues. So they don't allow us to just pick whatever song we want to sing. They give us a list, and all 100 artists are choosing from the same list. And it's not like all of these songs that we're given are current, popular, we know. I mean, some of them are way, 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 way back in the day. And so you're really choosing from a very short list. And when I saw that Kelly Clarkson's song was on there, I knew it was her most recent single. And so I knew from a business perspective, if somebody chose that song on their list, Like, because they tell you can pick 10, and then they'll tell you what you're singing from those 10. And I knew if I put that on there, the producers would most likely pick that one because it would be dramatic to sing Kelly Clarkson for Kelly Clarkson. So it would be a good TV moment, but then it would also boost her new single because it would be free marketing for her single. So in my brain, I was like, this is at least a way that I can guarantee airtime, you know?
Smart. You're smart,
Yeah.
Kelsie.
Hey, this is a business. If all I had to do was sing,
Yeah.
man, we'd be flying so high, so all the time. But
Yeah.
alas, that's probably the least amount that I do.
I want to say, like, I appreciate that I can art, like, even just by that story, but like, I can very much tell that you have both sides of the brain, like the artistic side and then the business side. And not all artists
Thank
have
you.
that. They're just, it's not possible. Like, they only focus on, like, what am I doing? Not like, oh, I need to pay my rent or pay my mortgage. So that's
Right.
very
Yeah, I'm
smart move. Is
thank
that why
you.
you think you have such a great, because like, I'm very impressed by your social media following. Do you handle all of that? Like, do you have somebody doing your social media?
I do it all. I have a manager that I started working with a couple of years ago, Melinda Bell, and she's amazing. Love her. But that's it. And she does a lot, but I run all of my social media. I still run all of my accounts. I'm in charge of all of my content, finding trends. I mean, I hired a PR firm back in January whenever I found out that I was going to be on Broadway. I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity to invest some money into that just for visibility's sake. But no, everything, I'm fully independent, do everything on my own. And my gosh, is it a lot of work?
You know,
It's
that's
a
what I
lot.
wanted to ask you because I was trolling all over your stuff because I like to
Oh,
see what you're doing like on the daily, like any
yeah.
interview I try to do, I really try to delve into people's socials. And I was so impressed, like even that the post you did like a little like not that long ago, but like a day in your life being on Broadway.
Yes.
Like how
Yeah.
much time did that take you to edit? Like to put that all together
Uh,
and edit?
Kelly, it takes forever. like, like if I tell you that whole day, everybody that I was around, including like my cast, I was like, guys, I need you to come do this real quick. Okay, we're just gonna film this real quick. So the amount of time it takes to film it, make sure that I'm getting all of the clips that I actually need, and then editing it together and then doing voiceover stuff on top of it, making sure it's under 3 minutes because Instagram will cap your audience if it's not under 3 minutes. But on TikTok, it doesn't matter. You have to make sure sounds are the same, but also different. So nothing's flagged. I mean, when I tell you, it's just like it took forever. That night, I think it took me like an hour. Oh, my light just died.
It's
Sorry.
all good.
I was like, I think it's, yeah, sorry.
It's like,
Well, also another part of social media is lighting, and sometimes it just dies on you. But
yep,
I
I've
mean,
had that happen. Don't worry.
yeah,
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad I asked you about that because like I thought to myself, I'm like, I feel like she did this by herself, and I feel like
yeah.
this took a long time. What do you edit on? CapCut? Like, what do you?
I just have Splice on my phone.
Okay, good. Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure CapCut was probably around the same thing, but I just learned Splice first.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
getting into something new, I was like, I already know this. It does what I need it to do, and until I need something new, I'm just gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
But
yeah,
it's like a full-time job for you, is it not? Almost like
it
it's
is.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, for sure. Because in addition, like, so I always make a joke. If all I was doing was 8 shows a week, I think my life would be really easy. And no shade to the people that do only do 8 shows. It's really, really hard to do. But on top of that, it's the content creation, finding the trends in order to make the content creation. So much of my platform, people just want to hear me sing, which I love, but it's also finding the time to just be like, hey, okay, I need to be in my kitchen for a second or somewhere where I can just sing a song real quick and then peace out to go real fast to do something else because it is filled with, podcasts, radio shows, press, which I'm so grateful for. So, so, so grateful for. But it really does make social media way more difficult to
Yeah.
be able to fit into the schedule. Yeah.
Well, my hat's off to you, Kels, because that's like I understand it. So good
Thank
job.
you.
Do you have a certain thing in your head like where you know how much you want to post a week, for example? Like do you have a plan it like every week?
I try to post every day.
Okay.
Yep, every day. The only day like sometimes I won't post is on Sundays because or Saturdays. Shockingly enough, people aren't super active on social media, at least on my platform, Saturday nights or Sunday nights. So if I post something on Saturday, I don't expect it to do crazy well.
Okay.
So same thing with like Sunday mornings, but I mean, it also just depends. Social media is so random. The
It's so
algorithm's
random.
random. Like there's kind of a strategy, and then you're like, well, God knows how well this is gonna do. So we'll just see. Yeah.
Joining us on the Kelly Alexander Show is Broadway star, singer, songwriter, and just rock star, clearly, Kelsie Watts. Make sure you check out her website, kelsiewatts.com, for all of her social media handles and all the information you need. Kels, let's talk about so mental health advocacy is super important to you. Um, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so can you just tell my audience like how this became important for you?
Yeah. So without getting too morbid, I always like to give people a heads up, just like I'm not trying to be sad or share a sob story. It really is just part of my life. So I lost my brother to depression. He took his own life. And so ever since that time, it's sharing his story has really brought purpose to the pain of losing him. And I like to share that so that way people know that they're not alone. There always is hope. There's always help. Somebody does care. We do need you in the world. And to also just bring awareness to what depression actually is, that it's not just being sad, it's a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's a disease like anything else. And so, just taking away the stigma of what people have thought that to be in the past. So a big part of my music and just like my platform is making sure that people know they're loved and they belong with me wherever I am.
I wanted to ask you too, like your song "I Can't Say Goodbye," which you wrote about your brother, and then this new one fit in. Like they're both, in my mind, uh, you know, very important for mental health, I think. And so, may I ask you what the difference is between writing "I Can't Say Goodbye" versus "Fit In"?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when I wrote I Can't Say Goodbye, I was in my apartment in Nashville with my keyboard just crying. It was just a bad day. It was a really bad day. And I just started writing it and was like, the words that I had just felt just poured out. And then I turned it into a song. So that I wrote 100% solo. I got a friend of mine to produce it. But as far as just the writing process, it really was just kind of grief coming out onto a page. Whereas with Fit In, that was way more calculated, I guess, or like planned out. I was writing with my friend DQ. It was our first session together. And we were talking about, what is Kelsie Watts' sound? And I started talking about, well, whenever I got off of The Voice, people really pushed me in this direction or this direction. And I never felt like it was me. And, I love Pink and Rihanna and like pop rock and like old school Demi and Kelly Clarkson. Like there were these things that I really loved and wanted to bring them into who Kelsie Watts is and that sound. And he was like, so you just like didn't feel like you fit. I was like, yeah, exactly. And then that got us talking about middle school, high school, growing up. Like I was never the cool kid. Truly. Like I never had a date to prom. I wasn't invited to the parties. Like I got along with everyone, but like nobody, like I wasn't sought out, if that makes sense. I was never high school skinny. I wasn't good at sports. Like I wasn't popular by popularity standpoint. And I always tried to alter myself to fit. I was like, well, why don't I fit in with these people? Do I need to lose weight? Do I need to change my hair color? Do I need to dress differently? Do I need to figure out how to get a boyfriend? Like, I mean, and that went in, gosh, well into college, I mean, and then social media, dear God, that just shoots everything outside of the roof. So, we just started talking about what that struggle looked like. And I was like, it took me a long time, but I finally got there where I realized even the cool people aren't cool. Like nobody actually fits in, and it's such a cliche. It's such a cliche to say, yeah, you were born to stand out, but like you don't always feel like that's a fun thing.
Hmm.
People are like, oh, you don't want to fit in, you want to stand out. I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds all empowering and stuff until you're really just by yourself and you feel really awkward and like you don't have anybody.
Yeah.
And so I tried to form this song in a way that was like very real, but also very empowering. So like, the first lyric of the song is, I know that you think that you're a lot. And I would have people tell me that all the time. Well, Kelsie, you're just a lot. You're just a lot. And I'd be like, why does that hurt my feelings? Why does that make me feel not great? And so I drew from real life experiences and put it into the song, and then made sure in the chorus that it was like positive at the end. Like, why do you want to fit in when you already do? Like, who you are is perfect and you don't need to change anything about that. So it definitely came, the two songs for sure came from different places, but I think both of them just inherently, because I am who I am, I wanted to make sure that they were positive and uplifting to whoever was listening to them.
With regards to like, do you feel a responsibility because you have such a big social media platform to make sure you're, mentioning, or like, well, I'll phrase it like that, like mental health stuff fairly often? Like, is it important for you to do so?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do feel a responsibility to bring awareness to that. And I actually, crazy enough, this morning, um, I did an interview a couple of days ago, and the clip that they posted was the one about my brother. And I got a notification this morning. I just like hopped on Instagram, and one of the first comments on there was, "Why does everyone need a sob story?" And I was like, it was this close to responding, and then my husband Brandon walked in, and he goes, "Kelsie, don't." He said, "Don't. We don't give those people the time of day." He's like, "I know we want to because you want to show people that it's not a sob story. You're making a difference in the world, and this is what this means." He goes, "But no, you give your energy to the people that are supporting you already." And I was like, "You're so right." So I just blocked the person and like moved on. But it really is, even though it's not always received the way I intend for it to be received, like some people are just hurt and they're going to hate their lives and they're just going to want to be hateful. But regardless, I want people to know that even though I get comments like that, I'll continue to always share my story because it's what gives other people hope and lets them know that they're not alone.
Hmm.
So I do think, yeah, I feel a responsibility to share that relatively consistently. It's not my entire platform, but it is a really big part of my platform for sure.
Does it ever get heavy, Kels? Like in the fact that, like, I mean, and I'm not even talking about the negative comments because I think your husband Brandon was right, like just block and go kind of thing. But when maybe somebody is super affected in a, I don't know how to say this because obviously it's not a good situation, but if what you have said speaks to them and they want to share back with you, does it ever get heavy and like too much? Because I'm sure because of your platform size, you probably get a lot of people saying, "Kelsie, like you understand me," or whatever.
That's a really great question, and one I don't think I've actually been asked before. Uh, I can honestly say it doesn't feel heavy receiving other people's stories. I think the only times I ever feel heavy is if I have, like, not like just this, but if I were to have like 6 interviews back to back to back where I'm consistently like only talking about that, then I'm just like, okay, I think I need a second. But bringing other people's stories in, honestly, I think it's more encouraging than anything. I even have people at the stage door sometimes that will come up after the show and they're like, "Hey, I follow you on TikTok, I follow you on Instagram, like you helped me not take my life." And I mean, and it's things like that that I'm like, it matters. Like what I'm doing, it means something. And so again, I use the phrase, it brings purpose to the pain. So instead of it bringing a heaviness, I actually find encouragement from it, because not because somebody else is hurting, I mean, because that's awful. And I hate that sometimes we have the same thing in common. I'm like, I hate that you can experience that and you understand, but I'm so glad that you're here and you shared that because you know you're not alone, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah, I would
How do
say it brings more
your
encouragement.
like your parents must be super proud of you for being able to, in a way, like definitely honor your brother.
Yeah, they actually are in a constant state of shock. And honestly, I think I am too. I can't believe that I am where I am half of the time. But there was an art exhibit we got to do in Nashville. I was already living in New York, but this lady, her son had also passed away, and he was an artist, and so she was doing an exhibit for uh, addiction, depression, and she actually asked if I could bring all of my brother Jordan's artwork. So she had all of his artwork shipped from Texas to this display, and it was called the Shooting Star exhibit, and it was just like a temporary art exhibit in Nashville that they were doing, um, and it was so cool because I was able to bring my parents, and they could see Jordan's art and like life like blown up in real time, where people were able to come through and see like his art and his life and like what he had said, because he was like the coolest human ever. Like he was so happy and brought people joy and like loved life. And so it's so cool to see their responses to things like that, because they love to talk about Jordan. I mean, my word, he's their kid. So it is, yeah, they're very proud, and I'm very blessed to have parents that are supportive with me
Good for
sharing.
you, Kelsie. Well, I appreciate you talking about this for us. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
of
I
course.
have to ask you about obviously Six, the musical. How did that opportunity come? Did you actually have to audition or did they seek you out?
Well, so I actually did a story time on my Instagram and TikTok about it. And one of the, I think, biggest misconceptions is that, well, because I have a following, I was just handed this role. And crazy enough, they found me 4 years ago. I was doing a gig on a showboat. And the musical supervisor came up to me at a meet and greet and was like, "Hey, I would love to chat with you. I think you could be a good fit for this show." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Me, never done professional musical theater in my entire life. Like, so I was just like, "Oh, neat, it's a pop show on Broadway. How cool." And then COVID happened and The Voice happened, and we stayed in touch. Her name's Roberta Duchek, and she asked me to come audition in Chicago, and then I made it through to New York, and I got cut. And I was like, "Wait, why?" And so I emailed the casting director, Peter Van Dam, and was like, "Hey, what can I do better to actually you know, like not get cut next time? Like what do you need me to work on?" And he was like, "Have you ever acted before?" I said, "No, I have not." He goes, "If you could work on that, that'd be great." And so he recommended an acting coach, Benji Shaw, and so I started working with him via Zoom. And at the beginning on Six specific stuff, but then just kind of like expanded because I just wanted to get into television and film and more acting. And so Six called again the next year, asked me to come to New York to audition, and it was for Par, the Sixth Queen, which is not who I play now. And I got to the finals. They sent my stuff to the UK, and I didn't get cast. And so the next year, they asked me to come on for a boot camp, but they like flew me out, put me up, like they pay you to be there. And they called me for Seymour, which is who I play now. And you did one-on-one with choreo, acting, singing. It was me and probably 30 other girls. And that was in 2023. And I didn't hear anything for over a year. I mean, by this point, yeah, by this point, I was like, what a cool opportunity. I was just given like this free education from some of the top people in this industry. How amazing, kept working on myself just for the sake of working on myself and my artistry. But I truly didn't expect anything to ever come from it. And I, was in full blown social media, bartending until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to pay for music. And last year, 6, 7 months ago, I got a call and they were like, "Hey, there's an opening on Broadway. Are you interested?" I said, "I'm sorry, what?" And yeah, and now I'm here. So it was a crazy process. And it didn't happen overnight, but I kept doing the work even when I wasn't in for that show all the time. I made sure I was still working on my voice, my acting, my dancing, like being really intentional about my artistry, my social media. And so that way, if something like this ever did come about, I was ready. And lo and behold, we're 6 months in, and Jane Seymour on Broadway. It's bananas.
That's awesome. And do you did you sign for a year? Like how long will you be in the role?
Yes, so I signed for a year. It was a whole new cast, so all of us are there. We opened in February, and we'll be there through February. I don't really know how extensions and things like that work. I don't know if we'll be in it longer or whatever, but at least for now, we're in it through February.
Amazing. Now,
Yeah.
because you've got Broadway and you also have your singing career, like, do you feel, especially because you've been doing this now for several months on Broadway, like, do you feel a pull one way or another, or do you know you want to try to keep doing both at some point? Like, is that feasible?
I mean, right now, it's feasible. So I'm pursuing both of them as hard as I can. I'm about to release an acoustic version of Fit In. I have another song coming out in October. We have a small Christmas project coming out. And I'm doing as much as I can to consistently be writing during the day and recording. Like right after this, I'm going to a vocal session to finish up vocals on 2 other songs. And so as much as I can, I'm pursuing both. But I will say I have fallen in love with Broadway, and I would love to keep doing it. I'm like manifesting like Satine and Moulin Rouge, or being in The Greatest Showman on West End, and Paint Me Green, put me in Wicked. Like, I mean, there's just it's so much fun. It's so fun. It is such hard work, but it is so much fun. So, I'm open to both, and I truly believe that whatever's meant for me is going to pass. Like, that's what's going to happen, and I'm just going to keep working as hard as I can until one thing pops off.
I have a few quick questions for you before you bounce. I like to call them fast facts with Kelsie Watts. So, what is the best thing that has happened to you so far in 2025?
Oh my gosh, in 2025? I mean, gosh, they're rapid, and so it makes me so nervous. There's so many great things that have happened in 2025. I mean, I'll say I opened on Broadway. I got to make my Broadway debut in 2025 in Six the Musical. I'll go with that.
Is there an artist or a producer that you would love to switch places with for one day? Who would that be and why? And it could be an actress or actor, like whatever.
Switch places with. Ooh. Either Lady Gaga or Ariana Grande.
I knew you were going to say Lady Gaga.
I love Lady Gaga. She is such a boss, and her theatrics, I'm obsessed with. I think she's so cool and like one of the most brilliant artists like of all time.
Is there a vice you wish you could give up?
Diet Coke.
Okay.
That is my vice. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. I don't go out. But the amount of Diet Coke I drink is ungodly. So if I could give that up, that'd be great.
Okay. And I know that obviously right now you're on Broadway, but if you weren't on Broadway right now, what would Kelsie Watts be doing at like 7 p.m. on a Friday night?
Oh gosh, probably just eating. I'd just be getting dinner. I mean, it's so funny. I tell people, I'm like, I don't think I'm boring. I like to call it disciplined, but I'm so but people could say I'm quite boring. I'm like, if it's 7 and I'm not already doing something, I'm going to be like, all right, we're going to go eat, going to grab a bite, and then I'm going to go home and hang out with my dogs and chill.
I understand. I think when you give so much artistically all week long, I think when you have some downtime, like it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, if I'm on vacation and like we're out doing something, well then sure. Like I'll totally go out. Like I'll go see a show. Like I'll go hang out with people. But here, nah, I'm gonna chill.
Is there a pop song in the last like 6 months to a year that Kelsie Watts wishes she had written?
In the last 6 months to a year. Oh gosh, the amount of Rolodex going through my brain. I mean, initially, Gaga's just the one that's on my mind. And so Abracadabra or Perfect Celebrity, that would have been really cool to write. Both of those songs are epic.
Okay.
So those, and I know they've come out in the last year. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to go with.
Is there a television show or a movie that like, if you're feeling out of sorts, if you put this on, all is right with the world?
It used to be The Office.
Okay.
And then it wasn't streaming anymore on Netflix, and now I don't know where it is. It's probably somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Brandon, crazy enough, puts on the Golden Girls.
Brandon and I would be buds.
Yeah. All like so now I'm like I'd never watched it, and then all of a sudden I was like, this is quite comforting. It was just so simple and so ahead of its time, and so I'm like invested. I'm like invested in it now, and then I put it on. I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Amazing. And last question, what message do you have for your fans and new fans?
Just thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here if you're new. Thank you for being new if you've been here for forever. Thank you for being here from day one, because I literally could not do what I do without them.
Amazing. Kelsie, thank you so much for doing this. It's been so great to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been a blast. I love it.
Amazing. So make sure you grab all of Kelsie's social media handles and everything else on her website, kelsiewatts.com.
Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.